Most owners think their dog is just waiting for permission before eating. The bowl goes down, but instead of immediately eating, the dog suddenly looks up and stares directly at them first. Some dogs hold eye contact for several seconds. Others glance back repeatedly before finally touching the food. That behavior feels strangely emotional because it almost looks like the dog is checking in before doing something important. And for many owners, the moment becomes even more confusing when the dog seems genuinely unable to relax until the owner responds somehow. At first, people often assume the dog is simply being polite or trained well. But in many cases, the behavior goes much deeper than obedience alone. Dogs are extremely social animals that constantly monitor the people around them for emotional information, structure, and reassurance. Even during something as simple as eating, many dogs still remain emotionally connected to the environment around their family. That instinct is deeply rooted in canine behavior. Long before dogs became household companions, survival depended heavily on staying aware of pack dynamics, social signals, and environmental safety. Eating was not always a completely relaxed activity in the wild. Dogs and their ancestors often needed to stay alert while remaining connected to the group around them. That awareness still exists today, even inside safe homes with full food bowls. Some dogs naturally feel more comfortable eating once they know the environment feels emotionally calm and predictable. Looking at their owner becomes part of that emotional check-in process. Many owners first notice this behavior becoming stronger after building a closer bond with their dog. The more emotionally connected the dog feels, the more often the dog may look toward the owner before important activities. This is especially common in highly bonded or emotionally sensitive breeds. German Shepherds, Border Collies, Dobermans, Labrador Retrievers, Golden Retrievers, and many companion breeds often stay very emotionally tuned into their owners. For these dogs, eating is not always a completely independent activity emotionally. The dog still wants reassurance that everything around them feels normal and safe. Some dogs also develop this behavior because of routine. Over time, they learn to associate eye contact with permission, approval, praise, or emotional connection before eating. Owners often reinforce this unintentionally without realizing it. They place the food down, look at the dog, speak calmly, or encourage them verbally before the dog begins eating. Eventually, the dog begins expecting that emotional interaction as part of the routine itself. That does not mean the behavior is unhealthy necessarily. In many cases, it simply reflects trust and attentiveness toward the owner. Dogs constantly study human body language, facial expressions, emotional tone, and routines. Looking at you before eating may simply be the dog gathering emotional information before relaxing fully. Some dogs also seem to look for subtle confirmation that the environment feels secure. If tension exists nearby, emotionally sensitive dogs may hesitate before eating comfortably. This is one reason some dogs suddenly stop eating normally during stressful periods inside the home. Changes in routine, emotional tension, moving homes, unfamiliar environments, or anxiety can affect appetite very quickly. The dog remains emotionally focused on the environment instead of fully relaxing into the act of eating. Many owners are surprised by how emotionally aware dogs become around food. The dog is not only reacting to hunger. The dog is also processing emotional and environmental information constantly. This becomes even more noticeable in intelligent dogs. Highly observant breeds often pause, study, and process situations carefully before engaging with anything important. That pause can sometimes look almost human. The dog stares quietly at the owner as if silently asking whether everything feels okay. For some dogs, the behavior is strongly connected to trust and attachment. Looking at the owner before eating becomes part of maintaining emotional connection even during vulnerable moments. Eating naturally lowers awareness slightly because the dog's attention becomes focused on food. Some dogs instinctively feel safer when their trusted human remains emotionally present nearby. This is one reason many dogs prefer eating while their owners stay in the same room. The physical presence itself feels calming. Puppies often show this behavior early because they naturally seek reassurance from trusted figures while learning routines and boundaries. Over time, emotionally connected adult dogs may continue the habit simply because it became part of how they emotionally regulate themselves. Some dogs even appear to share the moment emotionally with their owners. The eye contact feels less like asking permission and more like maintaining connection. That emotional bond is one reason so many owners find the behavior surprisingly meaningful. The dog seems emotionally aware of the relationship even during simple daily routines. At the same time, not all dogs behave this way. Some dogs eat immediately without checking in at all. Others remain naturally independent around food despite being deeply bonded to their owners. That difference often comes down to personality, confidence levels, early experiences, breed tendencies, and emotional sensitivity. Confident, independent dogs may feel perfectly comfortable eating without monitoring the environment closely. More emotionally observant dogs often prefer maintaining awareness of the people around them. This is why context matters more than the behavior alone. A relaxed dog calmly glancing at the owner before eating is very different from a nervous dog showing stress, hesitation, or fear around food. Healthy behavior usually looks calm and emotionally balanced overall. The dog checks in briefly, then relaxes and eats normally. But excessive hesitation, refusal to eat, pacing, anxiety, or obsessive monitoring around food can sometimes reflect emotional insecurity or stress. Dogs communicate emotional discomfort very subtly. Changes around eating behavior are often one of the first signs owners notice when something feels emotionally off inside the environment. This does not automatically mean something is wrong medically or emotionally. In many cases, the dog simply feels deeply connected to the owner and emotionally aware of the environment around them. What surprises many people most is how socially connected dogs remain even during basic survival activities like eating. For dogs, emotional safety often matters almost as much as physical safety. Feeling connected to trusted people helps many dogs relax fully enough to enjoy normal routines comfortably. That instinct became even stronger through domestication. Over thousands of years, dogs evolved alongside humans while becoming increasingly emotionally responsive to human behavior and emotional cues. Looking at you before eating is often part of that emotional relationship. The dog is staying connected, aware, and reassured before fully relaxing into the moment. Once owners understand this, the behavior often feels far more meaningful than simple obedience. Beneath the eye contact, hesitation, and quiet checking in is usually a dog that feels emotionally safest when the people it trusts most are nearby and emotionally calm.